Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of a Frugal Athlete podcast. So, before I start, I want to say we've taken a break. It's been a while since we've been on the podcast. A lot has happened, both personally and business wise. So, unfortunately, the podcast had to take a back seat, but we've been able to reconstruct and reconfigure, and we are back now. So, with that being said, just want to give you a quick rundown of how the podcast shows are going to work. You're going to see a lot more solo episodes. It's going to be a lot more personable, a lot more authentic, a lot more transparent. We're still going to have the guest episodes, but full disclosure, it is tough to plan and edit and do all the things that's required when you don't have a physical location or a studio with podcasts. I'd love to say I'm like have in New York or Atlanta or LA where there's a lot of traffic in terms of, athletes and financial stakeholders that will come through the city, and you can have them and invite them to your studio and get like top quality podcast, vlogcast, however you want to call it, because that's what's popular now. But we still do a lot of our stuff via Zoom, via all the other softwares that you can do virtual podcasts with. Not to say that's an excuse, but we want to make sure our quality is continued to stay on par with the recent trends with where podcasts are going, specifically athlete podcasts. So we're going to do a lot more solo episodes. We're going to incorporate guest episodes still. Ideally, we're going to have those in person, but if not, we'll have it via video, online video. So just want to give you some more context into like where we're at, what we've been up to, and how we're going to go about it. So yeah, just wanted to make sure I got that out the way. With that being said, this podcast episode is brought to you by Serve Consulting. Serve Consulting is myself and my business partner Adrian's boutique sports business management firm. We help athletes with turning them from athlete to athlete CEO, athlete to athlete enterprise. And then we also help brands with their go-to-market strategy. So if you need help with strategy, content, project management, brand partnerships, strategic partnerships, we are your folks. Make sure you check us out. This podcast episode is also brought to you by OK You Go Manifest and Go. It's an exclusive journal. The show notes will be in the bio, or the link to the website will be in the bio, in the show notes. Make sure you get your journal. It's a great way to not only close out the year, but start the year on a high note. This is a journal that I've developed over the course of 2 years. Yeah, 2 years to get in front of you. So it's a game changer. If I don't say so myself, help you, stay organized, stay disciplined, and stay motivated to manifest the dreams that you want. It's all about helping you reach your highest level. And I'm a big proponent and advocate of journaling and manifesting. And this is not just your regular journal that just does like the quick goals or what you're grateful for. We actually give you prompts. We actually give you, exercises for you to like really reflect, really, immerse yourself with yourself and build out what it is you want from your life. So hopefully that's helpful. Make sure you check out the show notes. This podcast, once again, is brought to you by Serve Consulting and then OK You Go Manifest and Go. So, bam, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. This episode, we're going to talk about financial checklists to close the year. It is Q4, quarter four. So towards the end of the year, if you break up the year into quarters, every 3 months, we are in the last 3 months of the year. Actually, today is October 9th. At the time of this recording, you will probably be seeing this October 10th. But yes, it is Q4. So I want to talk about, the financial checklist to prepare not only to close out the year on a strong note, but to give you a springboard for the upcoming year. If you're not thinking about, if you're waiting till December to think about your Q4, it's already too late. It's already too late. You need to be thinking about it 3 months well in advance. So we are in October now, and we're going to give you like the checklist that you need to, start so you can hopefully, close the year out strong, but end the year and go into the new year with the pep in your step. So obviously, I talked about the importance of a financial checklist. It's good to get a recap of the year. It's good to understand like what you did right, what you did wrong, where you can double down, where you need to fix. And it helps you get everything in order. It's almost like your opportunity to clean your house. You're organizing your garage, organizing, labeling everything, putting things where you need to put, figuring out what you need to dust off to bring back into the house, what you need to get rid of to do a garage sale. That is what is a financial Q4 checklist is all about. So what are some things that you need to focus on within that checklist or just the financial checklist for a Q4? I think first and foremost is, and I'm going to use athletes. Obviously, this is an athlete catered show. So I'm going to use athletes in my specific situation, my specific experiences, my specific insights to kind of give more context. So with that being said, number one, first order of business is tax planning. Understanding, all right, what came in, what's going out, where do you have to allocate, all the things that you need to allocate for tax planning, your W-2 checks, your 1099 checks, your bonus money, your side hustles if they reach a certain amount. How are you allocating that? How are you going to work with your accountant or your tax planner to make sure everything is in order? Another thing that you need to work out within your taxes is, your charitable donations. How much are you donating? Different things like that to make sure that when it comes to preparing for when tax season is due, you have all the things in order. So for example, as a soccer player, our years were January to December. We got paid on an annual basis. Other sports are different. They go either by season or, the bi-weekly, whatever it is. For soccer, we got paid bi-weekly on the 1st and the 15th. Some cases you get paid on the 15th and the 30th. I'm a big fan of the 1st and the 15th. Don't ask me why. But first order of business is making sure your taxes are in order. So what does that look like? Getting everything situated, making sure that you have all the paperwork necessary to file and make sure you file correctly, because you want to make sure that you don't have any outstanding issues come tax season. The second thing that you want to focus on is retirement contributions. Towards the end of the year, this is your chance to maximize your contributions if you are into that. And I highly recommend you consult with your financial team, your advisor, before you take any of this information and apply it to your own playbook. This is informational and educational only, but it's an important time when it comes to retirement contributions to take advantage of Q4. You want to make sure if you are looking to maximize your contributions, you do it before the deadlines. Whether it's your 401k, your traditional Roth, you have your HSA accounts. These are things that you need to look over, understand the limitations and the amount that you can contribute, how much you may have left, how much you haven't contributed, how you want to allocate your retirement contributions, and then go from there. A lot of times people will wait till the last second and miss the deadline. And you're losing out on money earned if you're into and if you're focused on building your retirement account by not having a quarter four checklist plan with your retirement contributions. I've been on that side of, waiting till the last minute and thinking you can make the deadline, but you ultimately lose out on money because you didn't contribute the max amount if you're contributing that. So what does that look like? When I talk about this Q4 financial checklist and why it's important, it's because you want to make sure that you have a roadmap. And along the roadmap, you're going to have different, stopping points, turns, and directions. And the same is true with your financial journey. This is a great way for you before you end the year to understand, all right, how am I allocating my retirement contributions? Am I allocating to my retirement contributions? If I'm not, where is that money going? If I am, how can I either contribute more? How can I adjust it accordingly? These are things that you need to ask yourself when you discuss the retirement contribution portion of your Q4 financial checklist. The next one is holiday spending and off season. So my off season was during holiday season. So it was both good and bad depending on how you look at it, because it was good, you're able to spend the holidays with your family, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Well, now now is just Christmas because the season is extends longer than Thanksgiving now. So it was great, to be back home and being able to spend time with your family during, a pivotal holiday. However, it is like I said, it's a blessing and a curse because during the holiday seasons when you spend the most. So in order to really make this Q4 financial checklist work, you have to plan your off season or your holiday spending in advance. If your family does gift giving, all right, what is your budget around that? If your family, if you're planning vacations, plan in advance. Don't wait till the last second. So for me, my family, then we like to go to Nigeria, ideally once a year, but realistically every other year. That's the kind of consistency that we're trying to go with. But if you wait too long, those flights are way too expensive. So how are you going about planning your holiday spending and your off season? A lot of times, because you're not in the routine of playing every day and having to travel and having a budget and getting the lunch and the team perks, you spend without thinking about it. That's why unfortunately, a lot of NFL players struggle with their offseason because they're so used to getting paid per game, and then they don't get paid for the offseason. They're like, what money's coming in that I can use to spend for my everyday purchases? So it's very, very, very important to understand the holiday spending and off-season budget for you. And the way to do that is to plan accordingly with your financial Q4 checklist. Lastly, this is a great chance to review. Just like at the end of the season, you have performance reviews with your coach, what you did right, what you did wrong, where you can improve, plans for the next year. That's exactly what you have to do with your Q4 financial checklist. Where are some things that you can improve on? What are some things that you can improve on? What are some things that you did right? Where do you want to double down on in terms of personal investments or investments? How do you want to go about, whether it's, side hustles or investments or real estate, what alternative investments? What does that look like? How will your portfolio or your personal financial picture change from what you did this recent year to what you are going to do this upcoming year? This is very important. You can understand and write down your wins and losses, and that will help you tremendously as it pertains to, having a clear pictures of your personal financial playbook, understanding, how to continually improve, because that's ultimately what we want to do, both on the field, off the field. It's important how much money you are projected to make the next year. How much money did you make this year? Where can you double down? Where can you loosen up a little bit? Maybe things that you could spend on that you probably didn't think you could. What does that look like? This is where you could talk about the goals that you had, the goals that you want to, continue to have. This is very important. So I talked about, as I close, I want to just give you a quick recap of what we talked about. This financial checklist, this Q4 financial checklist, your tax planning, get all that stuff in order. Your W-2s, your 1099s, your bonuses, your side hustles, your paperwork, assets, documents. That's where you want to get all that stuff regulated early. Then you want to talk about your retirement contributions. Where might you be missing out on? Can you maximize? Are you even interested in contributing to your retirement? What does that look like? Third, your holiday spending, your off-season planning. This is where you can either increase the gap or lower the gap. So how are you going to be disciplined in your off-season spending or holiday spending so that you can stay on track to whatever it is that you have? And then lastly, the cleanup. This is the cleanup and the recap section where you want to talk about your wins and losses. Where can you improve? How can you continue to get better? Where you can be more efficient, and kind of go from there. So this is a quick episode to try to get back into the rhythm. I hope this financial checklist is helpful for you. Make sure you please subscribe, leave a review. Like I said, our apologies on the inconsistency, but we are back, new and improved. Want to thank you once again. This episode is brought to you by Serve Consulting, and Okay, you go, manifest and go. Make sure you check them out. Appreciate y'all for your support and talk to you soon. See you next week.